Fortnite has secretly changed more things than you could ever imagine. So today, I'll show you 25 of them, starting with the new Mythic. Because before The Simpsons, Fortnite mayors had a bunch of Halloween items, and one of these was the chainsaw. It was introduced for Leatherface last year, but now it's been secretly reworked for Itchy and Scratchy. With the newest update, you can now find the cartoon version, and while it's almost identical, they quietly tweak the animations when running. Another hidden detail is in Mo's new set, and while his emote isn't the Fly Girl dance, it is him serving up some iconic flamin' Mo's. They're a drink from the show and are actually made with alcohol and cough syrup. Obviously, Fortnite's not gonna do that, so now they're made with slurp and radioactive fuel. It's not the only thing from the show they censored, because an entire person was erased. Of course, Epic could only fit a handful of characters from the show to release during the season, but there are still references to so many more around the map. Inside Mo's bar, you can find photos of the B Sharps group. That's when Homer, Barney, Skinner, and Apu made a barbershop quartet. But something was off. For whatever reason, Apu was yellow. Fans were so confused, but luckily Fortnite responded saying this wasn't intentional and it's being adjusted in our next release. So sure enough, we launched the game after the next update to see Apu secretly updated. They also made a brand new change that teases the next chapter. Because over in OG, you could head to Risky Reels and find the iconic sign showing movies like Prepare for Collision and other references. Well, for the first time, it's now been completely redesigned. There's a giant now playing sign here saying a new story begins November 29th at 2 p.m. ET. 0 Hour Chapter 7 Fortnite After Dark with Q and U. So yes, it is the same hint we saw a week ago, and now it's officially being teased in game, which means this event is gonna be huge. And that's not the only theater that got a new show, because the Aztec over in Springfield was also secretly updated. From the start of the season, this place was showing mashup when brands collide, a clever joke from Epic roasting themselves for another collab season. But if you head there now, you'll see a new title featured Slurp the Commercial, which means the island loves a drink that much, they're paying to go watch an ad. There is one change this season that we all overlooked, and it kinda sucks. Some people were disappointed when buying the pass, realizing that you wouldn't unlock your first Simpsons skin until at least level 7. This is thanks to the new sidekick peels being included for tier 1. What most people didn't notice was that this is the first time Fortnite has ever done this. Every single pass since chapter 1 has included a skin at tier 1 unlocked instantly when you hit purchase. Whether it's a basic outfit, the first stage of a progressive character, or sometimes even 2. But with the introduction of sidekicks, maybe this will be the new tier 1 from now on. And that's not the only old school design that received an upgrade after 8 years, because one of the most classic weapons received a new rarity this season. For so long, we have known the tac shotgun goes from gray to blue, and then it gets a new design for epic and legendary. But thanks to the new Simpsons season, we've not only got it back to the original design, but there's now even a legendary and our first ever mythical OG tac shotgun. And while some things are added, others have been completely removed. At the start of the season, you could load into a match and land anywhere you wanted on Springfield Island, including this place, Mayor's Munchies. Then the servers crashed and everyone was booted out of the game for hours. When it finally came back, one thing had changed. The POI was gone. It was now renamed to Corruption Corners, and less than 1% of players ever got to see it with the original name. What is corrupted is Fortnite OG, because for the past few seasons, the mode has been broken. From incorrect weapon stats to quad crashers not being able to fly, there's a lot of stuff in the mode that doesn't feel faithful to the original chapter. And then this next update left fans stunned. They dropped from the bus only to find 3 buildings completely changed for no reason. A hut was now a desert garage, a broken house was now swapped with one from retail, and the tacos hut at the wooden chair landmark was somehow replaced with the building from Tilted. We all thought it was intentional, but it wasn't long before Fortnite noticed the mistake and quietly fixed them in the next update. One thing that's exactly where it should be though is the Simpsons family couch. Right inside their home, you can find it in the living room and even intact to letting you recreate the classic couch gag scenes. Everybody knows this. Well, at least you could try that because Fortnite had to vault it. Turns out sitting here will actually heal you, but players soon found a way to break it, making them invincible. All you had to do was get eliminated while sitting on the couch and you would be knocked off and keep the healing, overriding any damage from players or the storm. The couch was disabled for almost 2 days, but it's still crazy to think that Fortnite has evolved so far that the Simpsons couch could get vaulted. Players are also getting vaulted off cliffs, except Fortnite even ruined this. Turns out that if you slide kick them off, it doesn't even count anymore. It used to be a hilarious way to get an elim. You lure an enemy over here and then slide kick them off a building or a mountain. It was the birth of hundreds of clips when it was introduced in chapter 3, and it's been used ever since. Well, when people dedicated to getting these elims, like FN Tire Guy went and tried it this season, they were met with the most disappointing result.
Adios. Look at him go. Oh my gosh. I didn't get the kill. Why am I not getting kills for slide kicks anymore?
So yeah, they still get eliminated, but now you no longer get credit for it. Earlier I mentioned how Epic changed the Flamin' Mo to their own drink instead. But that wasn't the only thing they swapped to the Fortnite style. Duff beer is obviously a huge part of the show, but when the two realities merged into the Springfield Island, the brands combined to create Slurp Co. in the style of Duff. The entire Slurpworks POI, Splash consumables, and even Slurp Man cutouts around the map are all Fortnite's own way of putting beer in the game without referencing the original. Even the mascot at the factory, which is normally Suds McDuff, was changed for no reason. In the show, this title is given to Santa's little helper, but Fortnite decided to base it on an entirely different dog. Then we have Cletus's cornhole, a pretty good representation of the farm, but these fields are actually filled with tomatoes. This is taken from the episode where Homer starts growing them, but they actually turn out to be horrible and filled with tobacco. Now we will eventually be getting these, but instead of tomacos, they're gonna be mutated with radiation instead. There's also the obvious change of the battle bus. Not only did they give it the Duff blimp straight out of the show, but they also cell shaded the entire thing, and honestly, it looks cooler than ever. But that's not all, because for the first time ever, you could actually see the bus driver. Next time you're queuing into a match, turn your camera around to look at the front window, and you'll see the silhouette of Otto driving the bus. But we have to talk about something that was changed in OG that hardly anyone realized. All the way back in the 3rd season, the comet appeared in the sky and was approaching fast. For anyone who was there back in 2018, you'll know that aiming at this played a very weird noise.
Do you hear that? Like that?
Well, at that time, players discovered that if you ran that sound through a spectrogram, you would get an image of Take the L. It was a pretty hilarious troll from the devs. And fast forward to OG in 2025, the meteor is back and playing weird noises once again. Now, it's the opposite, instead giving Savor the W. One thing a lot of people were not happy to see changed is Fortnite's attitude towards customization. Previously, we've been able to change styles ever since they were introduced with skins like Carbide and Omega. The only time they've ever been permanent is things like Maya or the Build Umbrella, which quickly became so hated that they even unlocked Chimera to be changeable at any time. So they added all this freedom to customize, but Epic has suddenly gone back on their ways and locked sidekicks. Now you have to choose the colors, traits, and more before you can even equip your pet, and if you want to change it, you gotta buy them again at full price. A lot of people aren't happy about it, and honestly, I hope Epic changed their mind. They almost had to do the same about the exclusive J Balvin style. T-Pain recently got his own locker bundle, so obviously he included his own emote and favorite skins. You could even pick up his Mustang design. But Epic made one big mistake. This bundle displayed a style for Party Trooper that was locked to a concert from 5 years ago. Obviously, it wasn't actually granted when you bought the bundle, leading to some players buying, hoping they would get it, and instead, Epic silently swapped the image out without saying a word. Although they did speak out about a super controversial emote. Just before the season started, we got Peacemaker in the game. But after the final episode aired, people looked back and realized the dance might mean more than we thought. So with the possible implications of the emote, Epic immediately locked it for every owner and spoke with Warner Bros. About the true meaning of the dance. And it was bad. So soon they gave us an update saying the reference wasn't intentional and they would change it anyway, so now the emote looks like this. So I mentioned how the comment was different in OG, but that's not the only timeline difference hidden in the mode. Back in the original Season 6, Durburger and Pizza Pit were at war, with the trucks driving around the map, battling each other for customers. But now in OG, none of this is happening. Instead, they crashed into each other outside Tilted and got dumped in Junk Junction as scrap. They also changed the mysterious bunker in the woods, which has been flashing yellow Morse code for something is wrong before turning red and purple in later seasons. Now it is flashing again, but this time in red it translates to Titans. They even changed the moon with these colors, glowing purple and red in the night sky, along with other anomalies like a wooden wolf statue and the nom sign spelling moon. All of this is super confusing, but building up to something huge, and we still don't have the answers yet. Obviously, the most noticeable change was the red rift and cube this time, but another detail was only visible for literally 60 seconds. When the island ascended, the red cube disappeared, returning to the usual purple one we all know. But when it exploded and we were taken into the Nexus, it was a huge surprise to see the red cube floating there. It is literally inside the 0 point right now, tampering tampering with the fabric of reality, which is crazy considering there wasn't even a cube there in 2018. So it's pretty cool to see Fortnite switching up OG story from the source material, but I don't think anyone expected how they'd alter the semi-bots from Repo. In order to work as skins, they literally extended their legs by a couple feet, and when you put them side by side, you can see how ridiculous it looks. And as soon as The Simpsons launched, players immediately found the newest OP weapon, Mr. Blasty. This was basically a revolver with pinpoint accuracy and no damage drop-off that could basically just snipe people. That's not even talking about the exotic version from Krusty. So in response, it has now been nerfed, having less accuracy and a bit more bloom when firing. Crazy to see how much has been secretly changed. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.